Welcome back, students. Again, in continuation with our chapter, that is chapter number 6, that is molecular basis of inheritance. Now we are going to talk about the RNA world. As in a previous video, we have just talked about that DNA is a genetic material and not the RNA, and we have seen up the differences why RNA cannot be said as a genetic material and why DNA act as the genetic material. Clear? Now, RNA, though it does not act as a genetic material, but it was the first biochemical to be produced in due course of evolution when DNA was not evolved at that particular period of time. Okay, since we can say that RNA molecule, as I told you all, that RNA is able to duplicate itself, RNA is able to express itself in the form of protein formation. Clear? Therefore we can say that it was RNA which came first into existence than the DNA. Okay. Second, that it is the RNA which first act as the genetic material. DNA was evolved later on. The first genetic material was RNA, and DNA evolved later on. We can say this because many of the life activities were performed all around the RNA molecule. Therefore we can say that RNA not only act as a regulator molecule, but it also act as the catalytic molecule. Clear? So it controlled and regulated a number of life activities, and it was able to duplicate itself, and it was also able to express itself in the form of protein formation. Clear? But the one of the most disadvantage of this molecule was that RNA, since it was an unstable structure, therefore it did not store the genetic information. Since it was unstable, therefore it could no longer be maintained as a genetic material, and due to this very disadvantage, DNA evolved from the RNA. DNA evolved from RNA. Clear? During the due course of evolution. During the due course of evolution. Clear? Now, when we have talked about the various features of the RNA. Now we are just going to talk about the different type of RNA. Clear? So RNA world, as I told you all in my previous videos, that RNA exhibits polymorphism. It exhibits polymorphism. So when we are talking about polymorphism is a process or a phenomena in which various kinds or various states of a single substance are found within a given period of time at the same place. So when we are talking about RNA also exhibits polymorphism, that is, it exhibits itself in the three forms, and all these three forms occur in a single cell at the same period of the time. Therefore we can say that RNA exhibits polymorphism, that is, it exists in more than two forms. So when we are going to talk about the types of the RNA, RNA, broadly speaking about RNA, this contains three types, though it is having more than 3 types, but we are going to talk about those later on. First, we are just going to have an introductory part over here, that the RNA, it comprises of the 3 parts, that is mRNA, tRNA and rRNA. Okay, as the name suggests, mRNA, it is the messenger RNA. As I am saying that it is the messenger RNA, therefore its function is to get the copy of the genetic code which is present in the DNA, and it has to transmit that copy to the tRNA. Clear? It gets copied itself on the DNA molecule, and therefore it stores the genetic information which is stored in the DNA molecule, and then it transmits that information to the tRNA molecule. It gets copied itself on the DNA molecule and copies the genetic information stored in the DNA molecule. Clear? It is present within the nucleus, means it is formed within the nucleus, that is, it is formed on the DNA molecule, and after its formation it is then passed on to the cytoplasm. It is formed within the nucleus, and then it is passed on to the here, that mRNA is formed within the nucleus itself, and then after its formation in the nucleus, from the nucleus it is passed on to the cytoplasm of the cell. Clear? Now when we are talking about the tRNA, as the name suggests, it is the transfer RNA. So when we are talking about the transfer RNA, this transfer RNA, it is very much present within the cell cytoplasm. It is present in the cell cytoplasm. So what are the functions of this tRNA? This tRNA, it gets attached to the mRNA molecule. It reads the genetic coding that the mRNA molecule has copied from the DNA molecule, and according to that genetic coding, it picks up various amino acids from the amino acid pool present in the cytoplasm, cell cytoplasm, and then it picks up every amino acid and brings it to the ribosome for protein synthesis, since ribosomes are the protein factories. It identifies particular amino acids from amino acid pool of cytoplasm according to the reading of mRNA, and transfers the amino acids to the ribosomes for protein synthesis. Clear? Now when we are talking about the rRNA, as the name suggests, these are the ribosomal RNAs. Since the name suggests that these are the ribosomal RNA, that it clearly indicates that these RNAs, they are present on the ribosomes. These RNAs are present on the ribosomes in cytoplasm. Clear? These ribosomes, the function of these ribosomes is to arrange the amino acids which are brought by the tRNAs and arrange them according to the genetic code that is stored in the mRNA molecule, and thus help out in the process of protein synthesis. These arrange the amino acids on the ribosomes according to the readings of mRNA and helps in protein synthesis. Clear? Therefore, as I said you all, that it is the RNA which is able to express itself and not the DNA. That is, here you can very well see that it is the RNA which takes up the genetic code from the DNA molecule, then it transfers its genetic code to the tRNA, and then this tRNA, according to this genetic code, it picks up the amino acids from the amino acid pool of the cytoplasm, and then it transmits the amino acids to the the ribosomes, where the rRNA arranges these amino acids according to the specific sequence of the mRNA reading, and then it helps out in the further process of protein synthesis. Okay, so here it becomes very much clear that it is the RNA which is very much able to express itself according to the Mendelian principles of inheritance. Clear? And not the DNA molecule. Clear? Now we are just going to talk about central dogma. Central dogma is a process of protein formation according to the genetic code stored in the DNA molecule, and it comprises of two processes. One is transcription and the other is translation. It is a process of protein formation according to the genetic codes stored in the DNA molecule. It comprises of two processes. One is transcription. The very first is transcription and the other is translation. When I am talking about transcription, the very first process is transcription and the other is translation. When I am talking about the process of transcription, it deals up with the formation or synthesis of the mRNA molecule on the DNA template strand. Clear? This is known as transcription. Clear? And when I am talking about translation, translation is the synthesis of the protein according to the genetic information stored in the mRNA molecule. So, it is the formation of mRNA on DNA template strand. When I am talking about translation, it is the synthesis of proteins according to mRNA. Clear? So this can be very well depicted up over here. Central dogma process, that DNA gets transcribed, that is, it undergoes transcription to form what? mRNA. This mRNA further gets translated or it undergoes translation to form what? Proteins. Clear? This very process is known as central dogma. So here, as we have seen that this central dogma process, it is very much concerned with protein synthesis and how this protein synthesis is going to occur, we are just going to have a look in our upcoming videos. Till then, thank you.